The US Strategic Reserve just set the price of XRP and confirmed that they'll be buying over billions of dollars in XRP, confirming that the $40 billion United States Strategic Crypto Reserve that they'll be hosting and now investing in is going to consist of 60% of that portfolio being directly in XRP. And we're talking about $9,761 per XRP is really what the United States has set the XRP price. Now, obviously we know this can happen because the United States is running the global financial network, and Ripple, which runs XRP, is American cryptocurrency. And what we have noticed is, actually, if you take a look at this price of the XRP set price by the Federal Reserve being around $10,000, and you look at what the co-founder of Ripple Labs and the XRP founder actually stated, he stated that XRP is designed for $10,000 and must be scalable to accommodate 7.5 billion people. The $10,000 price has been set for a very long time by XRP's founder and even now by the United States of America. And it only gets crazier as you listen to Brad Garlinghouse and you listen to Ripple's CTO, how they affirm that exact stance. With Ripple's CEO affirming that Ripple cares more about XRP than anything else and emphasizing that if there is going to be a crypto reserve, it must be XRP and that XRP will replace the SWIFT banking system. Ripple's CTO also doubled down on this stance, affirming that Ripple is going to be carrying out one of the biggest globalization and adoptions of XRP, including partnering with over 100 financial institutions, including banks, to actually facilitate the use of XRP for cross-border payments, unlock millions, billions, and trillions of dollars at different scales for XRP, and make sure that XRP will be, in fact, the world reserve currency, to replacing and competing with Bitcoin and with the US dollar. Now, the crazy part about all this is that Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse, as we mentioned, on two occasions said XRP will replace Ethereum, and then on another occasion he actually said XRP will replace Bitcoin, and pricing it at over, I think he said over $1 to $2 trillion in market cap. Now, this is a very big deal, and again, it goes back to the price of XRP that will have to reflect that massive large-scale adoption. And we got to understand what is happening right now, in fact, as we look at the charts, where we see massive adoption happening to XRP right in front of us. I mean, XRP crashed, now is hosting a massive rebound, and the volume has just surged, meaning there's some scale of adoption that is unfolding right now, especially with what Solana has been hinting at, which is a massive 589 price per XRP, emphasizing that Solana will be number one, XRP will be number two, and Bitcoin will be number three. Now, we believe the complete opposite. We believe XRP is going to run the financial system, but the concept is that Solana actually placed XRP above Bitcoin, meaning XRP could potentially actually surpass Bitcoin, and more importantly, XRP is about to skyrocket. Now, keep in mind, we've actually partnered with Apple to give every single person watching today's video up to $100 for you guys to accumulate a nice bag of XRP without any cost. So, if you want to get yourself a juicy bonus to get yourself some more XRP up to $100, all you have to do is like the video, subscribe to this video, and then most importantly, you need to sign up on Apple using my link in the description and do a transaction. Once that's done, you're going to get that juicy bonus of up to $100 for you guys to get some more XRP. So again, the whole process takes less than 5 minutes. It's free money, and let's get back to the video. Now, the point of XRP being priced at $10,000 and set by the Federal Reserve also at $10,000 goes further when you realize that Brad Garlinghouse has been talking about it all along. In fact, if you read this clip right in front of you, which I'm going to show you guys it in a couple seconds, Brad Garlinghouse speaks about how central bank digital currencies right now in the United States of America and the Central Bank of America, actually they plan to build it on the XRP ledger. He also emphasizes that cross-border payments and the US debt is at an all-time high of about, I think he said 40 or 50 trillion dollars, and that this could all be facilitated and fixed if it's used using XRP. Now, you know who else said that? Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America, literally also said that they might just write off the US debt to China by writing a little crypto check. And how can they do it? Well, if they actually end up buying XRP, just imagine this. If the US government buys XRP, let's assume they buy, let's say, $10 billion worth of XRP. Now, XRP skyrockets to 10,000. Well, the US government's going to have way more than the US debt. They might have 100 trillion, maybe even more than that. And so they could easily just write a simple check of about, a couple million XRP or a couple billion XRP, hand it over to China, and that's it. There's no more US debt. The US debt is completely paid off. And so this is where you talk about the XRP getting that globalized adoption, the XRP price absolutely skyrocket. Because really, if you think about it, there's no possible way that you can actually send 40, 50 trillion dollars in US debt to China when XRP is sitting at $1, because there's only a max supply of 100 billion XRP in total supply and 50 billion in circulation. But think about it like this. If XRP was to be priced at $1,000 or $10,000, then it'd be a lot easier easier to write them a check, and the government would still have loads and loads of money. In fact, if you do your research and you look into, for example, Donald Trump, and you look into Eric Trump, the son of Donald Trump, Eric Trump actually went on a podcast and confirmed that he's in very close relation with Ripple's CEO, Brad Gillingham, and also emphasized that he actually knows XRP very well in terms of the technology. He understands that it can be used for payments, he understands that they're solving a multi-trillion dollar problem, and he understands that the price valuation for XRP is going to absolutely skyrocket and could be priced at $10,000. Furthermore on this, if you look into the wallets, these leaked crypto wallets of these, elites, most importantly of Donald Trump and Eric Trump and his kids, so obviously the Trump family, the president and his family, you realize that they own a chunk of XRP in their wallet. So they obviously know the potential of XRP, and they obviously know the impact that it's going to have on the entire financial industry and the inflationary industry, meaning XRP's price will have to be hyperinflated. I mean, it has to be way more than where we're at, thousands of dollars, for the financial system to be able to process normally and for the US to write off their debt. And so obviously they're going to be accumulating the biggest bag. If they know that XRP is going to 1,000 or 10,000, they want to accumulate as much as they can because it's literally generational wealth for them. But also from the big perspective here, it allows for the United States of America to be able to write off all of their debt so that the US is debt free. And it's going to happen a lot quicker than you imagine, and this could be realized by just looking at institutions building on the XRP ledger. For example, RealFi, which is a payment rewards and real estate solution. These guys are unlocking a $654.39 trillion industry directly on the XRP ledger. Imagine that number, the real estate market and the payment rewards industry coming onto the XRP ledger. That on its own is going to skyrocket the price of XRP because it's such a massive market. And the way they're doing this is they're actually facilitating it using the Real token, a project built directly on the XRP ledger. Now this is the Real token. It's up 10% in the last 24 hours, continues to skyrocket, and we're about to reach a massive breakout point. Because if you didn't notice, Real token and I mean like a day ago, got listed on a massive centralized exchange. And so we have a lot of retracements happening. This is very typical. But right after that is about to be a massive breakout. The unlock that just happened right now is the unlock of 40 million users actually able now to buy Real token. Before it was only on decentralized exchanges. Now it's on centralized, at least one centralized exchange, which is MEX. And I'll be leaving the links down below in the description. But this thing is solving a multi-trillion dollar problem, is about to absolutely skyrocket because of that, and has a very, very low supply of only, I think max supply is 1 billion phase 1. Now they're in phase 2, I think it's 122 million. So you're talking really very low supply, yet massive demand. One that is going to absolutely make it skyrocket, and you're going to experience one of the biggest supply shocks I personally believe ever seen historically. Because if you take a look at it, this thing has very, very, strong support, very low resistance. The possibility of a breakout is just very high. Specifically, when you look at it from all angles, even if you do technical analysis, you'll realize that we're hitting a consolidation point. The very consolidation point that caused for the biggest breakout that we've seen for the Real token in its past, well, we just hit it again. And now we are likely going to go upwards to as high as hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. Now, it sounds insane, but just take a look at this expert and what it says. So Ripple's obviously going to launch and become a bank, but if you take a look at the very bottom, it says just imagine if only 1% of the $650 trillion market flows into the Real token, it would soar from 2 cents to about $65,000. And this is the reality when we look at it, because if you take a look at the Real token right now, they have in terms of activity, there's not much activity because again, it's a relatively new project, about 2 or 3 months old. There's no mass marketing campaign. Not many people know that the Real token even exists, but because it's actually facilitating transactions, because it's actually used by institutions, it's maintaining a high price, and it continues to go up every single day. I mean, this thing went from 1/100th of a penny to now 2.5 cents, which is a very big deal, and it did this all in a matter of mere months. Now, imagine once they do a mass marketing campaign. Imagine when you talk about supply shock actually occurring. It has a very low supply. That supply shock would literally trigger the price to over $65,000 long term, obviously. But if we take a look at it, for example, if somebody were to right now buy $10,000 worth of Real token, the price would absolutely soar. And I mean this in every possible way. $10,000 worth of Real token would cost for the price of Real token tens of dollars. It's insane. But imagine making literally like a 1000x or 100x, 1000x is even higher than that potentially, in a matter of overnight, in a matter of mere days, because of one person buying $10,000 worth of Real token. This is what we're talking about. Now imagine that at scale. Imagine facilitating $100,000 in daily transaction volume. Again, the price would absolutely have to soar. And so this is what we're talking about. It could be, now $200 or $300 per Real token because of $100,000 in daily transaction volume. Now, if you even take that further and you look at it, the market cap hitting 100 billion, which is typical, by the way, for real world asset projects that are solving a multi-trillion dollar problem. Imagine that. Imagine the price of Real token at that point could be tens of thousands of dollars. And this could all happen instantaneously overnight. And this is why we talk about getting in and doing your research, right? Because people that bought Bitcoin at $1 and it's skyrocketed to 120,000, I mean, this is the reward that you get as a result. So obviously, again, I'm very, very bullish on this. I'm not a financial advisor, so I'm not financial advisor, I was doing research. But I truthfully see a lot of potential, and I truthfully believe that there will be a massive, massive up bull run in the next couple of days that will absolutely skyrocket. We're going to see altcoins hitting all-time highs. We're going to see projects like the Real Token skyrocket, and it's going to come down to one of the biggest week or 2 weeks or 3 week long bull run that is going to create generational wealth for those that were able to get in early on these projects. Like, again, the concept of going from 2 cents to $500, $600, $700, in a matter of mere days, that is unseeable except for projects that are solving a multi-trillion-dollar problem, and people that got into that project very, very early. And so this is what I think is going to happen. Obviously, I think XRP is going to surge up. It just has to when you have massive breakouts. If Real Token goes to 700, XRP has to pump. But we're talking about the exponential rates here. So look at this. Now we're up 12%. But think about it like this. If Real Token goes all the way up and hits, let's theoretically say Real Token hits, $700, XRP will go up as well. But XRP will probably hit maybe $3, maybe $4. This is what we're talking about, exponential rate increases. And so again, I'll be leaving all the links down below in the description. I mean, they're backed by massive institutions. I'm very, very bullish. And you guys can actually learn more by checking them out at payreal.com. And if you want to check them out on Twitter as well, they're at RealFi Team. Again, I'll be leaving all the links down below in the description. I mean, I'm very, very bullish on this. I think there's going to be a big wealth transfer that is literally about to happen. And guys, I'm very bullish. So with that being said, I'm going to conclude the video here. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, share this video. I'll see you guys next time, and peace.